Igbo Odunke, not Itobo. It was just a metamorphosis from Igbo Odunke to Itobo, to the present Itobo. A day before the ceremony at the mini stadium, the age grade that we celebrate the Itobo, we slaughter 2 cows. They slaughter 2 cows at the house of the chairman or the branch of that age grade that we celebrate the Itobo. They slaughter the cows, share the meat. The slaughtering of the cows and the sharing of the meat is the Itobo. Going to the mini stadium and then Igwe authorizing you people to authorizing the celebrants to put on records. It's not the Itobo. The real Itobo is the slaughtering of the cows at the chairman's house and the sharing of the meat.
It's a historic celebration. Everyone aspires to get to that age. And when you are growing up, you crave to be that age to join the age grade, because the age grade is joined at a certain age. Yes. So, and when that age comes, you join, and you make sure you don't fizzle out. You continue to do whatever that is in their constitution to stay in that age grade until the ripe age of 80. Because if you fizzle out, when 80 comes, you are going to pay all those arrears before you are accepted to join in the celebration.
The Itobo festival actually is outsold as Obosi Kingdom. Like, it's been like for like 400 years. So every 3 years, all the men and women that have attained the age of 80, they celebrate them.
Itobo Festival kicks off with celebrations a night before, where families receive relations, friends and well-wishers who came from far and near to honor the octogenarians. The mood for celebration is activated on the eve of Itobo with food, drinks, music and dance. The origins of Itobo can be traced back centuries to the founding of Obosi. It was established as a way for community to connect with its past and ensure the prosperity of future generations.
Itobo is really a celebration of life, a celebration of longevity. Although it is an Obosi festival, but it somehow, has some connection, either by chance or by design, with the Bible. Psalm 10 says, that the days of a man on earth should be 3 scores plus 10, which is 70. And in Obosi, they decided to celebrate 80, as is to thank God. Well, the traditional rites performed is that the Igwe of the town will bestow on these celebrants, the right to wear red caps, and they are called Oboishi. The men are called Oboishi. The women are called Oboishi wine. It's a very old institution already in Obosi. And every year it keeps growing every year. It keeps growing in size, keeps growing in significance, you know. So I have no doubt whatsoever that it's something that is going to continue. It's going to continue. It's going to even be enlarged. The scope will be enlarged.
Weeks before the event, preparations for Itobo are underway. Every aspect of the ceremony is meticulously planned, from the cleaning of sacred shrines to the crafting of intricate masks and costumes. These preparations in turn boost the economic life of Obosi community as traders and business people alike express their joy and pray Itobo festival legacy never dies.
And I thought it's very good. Business moving down normal.
Talk about them man after I go to Miss Azraya. And I'm Azukari Kitane talk about Kadiam where I know it. Kaya said that night, at least here the chat.
Every time this Itobo festival comes, we anticipate it like very well. So whenever it comes, we are going to make a lot of money. We do make a lot of money. Well, you know, this year, based on the prices of things that have skyrocketed, so no, most people don't make it. Though we sell wigs, because we don't only make hair here. We sell wigs, we tie gele and other things. So there's inspection also on the show, and this year is not an exception.
They played a very big impact because the business is moving. It's moving fine. And they helped me by buying my goods.
Business is good. Like every 3 years we come around, we do the events, decorate, make people happy, entertain people, and showcase what we have. Like we look forward to it. Every 3 years we get prepared, like it boosts the business. If you see what we did, they will call us. Okay. So it's like kind of we market ourselves. Okay. We hope on it. It's good. If you do it yearly, as a business person, I will say, okay, I want it yearly. But the 3 years is okay.
During this festival, our rooms was booked for 3 days. This 3 days event held, our rooms was all booked and before the date. So it was really great and positive.
During time of Itobo, we have to have more demand, and towards that demand aspect, you have to meet up to almost 3 to 4 people, and the sales was nice, and just that it was a little stressful because sometimes you don't have to meet up with their target. We have to start running here and there to make sure that we get to their need. But the most important thing is that their comfort was most of our priorities.
Food plays a central role in Itobo. Special dishes like pounded yam, egusi soup, and palm wine is prepared to honor ancestors and share in the communal feast. As the sun sets on the day of Itobo, the village square comes alive with music, dance, and ritual performances. The air is filled with the sounds of traditional drumming and chanting as participants pay homage to their ancestors.
This is the kind of ceremony that you want to be a part of, you are proud of, you want to celebrate, you want to export to the world. And we want to thank Obosi for giving Anambra State, giving the Igbo land, giving to Nigeria and the world the longevity celebration. Celebration of longevity. Because there should be no debate about it. About the federal government recognizing this day, recognizing this event, and UNESCO putting it in their global calendar. So that on days like this, the world should go to Obosi and learn that it is better to celebrate the living, celebrate the aged, not when they die. When they near the world, one of the finest festivals that I think the world should emulate and celebrate. celebration of longevity.
For hundreds of years, we, the people of Obosi Ancient Kingdom, have come together every 3 years to celebrate the age grade that has attained the age of 80 years and thereabouts. The male members of our Foka age grade shall today receive the coveted Obosi red cap and the title Obueshi, while the females shall acquire specially crafted hats and the title Obueshi wine or wine Nohudo Eshi. To an average Obosi person, Itobo Festival is bigger compared to Christmas, Easter, Obiora Iwaji, all rolled into one in Obosi.
It's work of God. God has done wonderful. And I believe I shall reach 80, 81. I'll reach 90, 100, 120. As God promised. With the health, very, very strong. As I do so, I can run, carry and thank God.
And in the midst of what is going on, and kept us healthy and strong, and grace to see this day. It's not a small thing. And the whole time we don't do longevity. We just glory to God. We thank Him. So for us, it's just happiness and gratitude to God for what He has done for us.
We thank God. We thank God. We thank God. God has kept us up to this age. And it's not easy to reach these 80 years, but God made it for us. So we are jubilated. We thank God so much for it. You see, this is brought home by my children. People in England, Canada, and US, they're all here. So we thank God. I mean, for the past 4 or 5 years, I've not seen them, but I slept with them today. So I thank God.
Interviews with younger members of the community reflect on the importance of preserving Itobo for future generations.
I can't wait to be 80. I can't wait to be an Obueshi. I can't wait for my own age grade to be celebrated. I mean, I'm young and I'm contributing towards my age grade, which means that I'm looking forward to a day like this for me, where my own children will come together to celebrate me. So it's definitely something that should be carried down from generation to generation. And even though the young people might not really appreciate it today, as they get older, they will.
I think for a younger audience, maybe has to be a bit more, maybe a few more rules around the celebration. So to get them more involved, to tell them what's happening, so they have more background maybe. Like maybe tell them how the Itobo started. I think though that I'm enjoying it a lot. I think my sisters are enjoying it. I think I'm having a great time.
I am definitely looking forward to my own Itobo. Not anytime soon, thank God. But you know, I think on a more serious note, if you're from Obosi and you don't do Itobo before you pass away, people always feel that you didn't live long enough and that you missed out something.
We should carry on with what's accepted in the community, because this is one of them. And if we don't carry on with this, it means we've forgotten our culture and we neglected our culture, because right from our great-grandfathers, it's been there. So we can't just leave it in our own generation here. So it's very important for us, the younger ones, to continue with it.
In a rapidly changing world, the tradition of Itobo serves as a source of cultural resilience and pride for the people of Obosi. It is a testament to the enduring spirit of community and heritage that defines this historic town. As the echoes of Itobo fade into the night, the spirit of our ancestors lives on, guiding us on our journey through the ages. In Obosi, the tradition of Itobo will continue to be celebrated for generations to come.
This is still Signature Morning on Signature TV, with so many things that ravage the world. Now, the continent, and you narrow it down to the country Nigeria, you'll be wondering, how are we going to get out of it? But not to pick all of them at the same time. We might just pick them one after the other. And for me, I think the first on our agenda right now should be about flooding. NIMET has come out with some speculation, not speculations, yeah, some data, they've given some statistics before what has happened before, what they fear might happen again. And NEMA is up in their game, trying to get their act together, But you wonder what will happen if this persists. So we're not going to do this alone. We have an environmentalist join us to discuss on this issue that wants to ravage the country or is somehow eaten deep into the system, the issue of flooding. So Mishak Uyi is on Zoom. Hello, good morning. Mishak, good morning. Can you hear us? It seems something is pretty wrong with the network today. But
yes, good morning.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, Mishak. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Okay. So I just want us to get right to it.
Good morning,
what do you think are the primary causes of flooding in Nigeria? And how have these factors contributed to the increasing severity of floods in recent years or in recent time?
Very good. Thanks for having me once again.
Can you try and speak up? We can barely hear you. Can you speak up? Hello, Mishak. Okay, so, Josh, you look at the situation in the country. We mentioned it a bit when we were having the meeting with Chris. Yes. The fact that, you tell people to move. Okay, some people stay in places that are very prone to flood, and that is the place by nature they are, and they don't have any other place to go. And sometimes it's difficult to move,
Apart from that, I personally don't feel like it's the problem of the people per se. Okay. I mean, there are agencies in grounds that whenever I want to, build my own house and all of that, I should take permission from. You see them mark houses, or this remove. That's even from foundation level. You see them, they come and tell you, oh, stop work here, you're not supposed to work here, you're not supposed to do this. So these people should have known since that, okay, this is not...
But sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes you see them mark those houses or those properties, X. Yes. And few months or few days, because if we have a government that is transparent, people can vouch for, they can leave their life in your hands, knowing that even if it is in their worst interest, they know that because you have their best interest at heart. Honestly, we have a lot of things that we need to settle in this country. You hear people say they were arresting people that they thought sponsored protests. Yet there are people's accounts, that are doing some other shady things that are not in the interest of the country, and they are running free. And you're wondering, why are you picking on the other young person because you feel you can't.
And then see how when I saw this headline, I was really not happy about it, because I just feel like it's numbers. These people just tell us numbers. 3 people died, 4 people this, 10 people this.
Even
see the way they said flooding affects 133 local governments, 526,703 persons. Those are families. Those are lives.
So we need to. The government, like Chris,
then they ended it with Tinubu promises aid. Promises aid, or Tinubu
or
has
aid is on working already. There are some issues that you wonder: are these people? We made to ask the other time. He said, "Are these people actually living with us, or is there a shift in the demography of the place that they are leading us from maybe another country?" Because if something is happening to someone, for instance, you have headache, and I have a means to maybe purchase medication or to touch you and you'll be healed. and I'll be telling, I'm going to, I will do it. Get to it and
Just
say
do
you
it
are
once.
on it. You know, so we, Nigerian government, beyond Nigeria, any other country that is concerned, and you have a government that is not proactive, you need to get proactive. Beyond even being proactive, transparency has a key role it plays in all of this.
This is where I would say that it is the responsibility of the government. It is your responsibility to keep trying to prove the citizens right.
Yes.
Keep explaining yourself.
Okay, see, you read the newspaper daily every day, newspaper headlines, and you hear a particular amount has been recovered. What is being done with those amounts? Nobody talks about it. They will say, and the money they mention and small.
Huge.
They are huge amounts of money.
I'm trying to look for the one that they
recently,
said
right?
Yes, that was said
I think one was even read in the news the other day. You wonder, so where do you pump those money into? The government needs to become accountable. If for instance, you use this pen to write, I gave you this pen and it's finished. You need to tell me what are the things you wrote that finished the ink. Do you understand? That's what will make the people trust you. The government needs to become accountable. Then there will not be a question of corruption. But the reason why, I think the reason why people are not trusting is because, okay, am I thinking it or I know it? The reason why I can't trust you is because I'm not sure about what you're doing if you have my best interest at heart, or you're doing it for some selfish reasons.
I found it. Now, this is statistics. This is what the newspaper is saying. I'm not saying this. This is not my opinion. This is not my take. Whistleblowing policy. This is on this day.
Yes.
Federal government recovers over 83 billion naira.
Thank you.
$609 million.
Yes.
5.4 euros in 6 years. I mean.
And they don't tell us what they do with these things.
Where is this money going
so
to?
So how are we going? Just yesterday I penned down, I think 60-something million. I'm not too sure whether the currency was in naira or dollars, but it was recovered. Yet the government aren't coming out to say this is what they're doing with it.
No.
So in a nutshell, let the government be proactive and transparent as to how they're managing every of their affairs. It's not welcoming. It's not welcoming at all. So at this point, I think we should just take a relief and play something for you. And Joshua will introduce that.
Yes, so coming up now is a report that was made by Signature TV, Tourism, Nigeria Economic and Growth Syndrome. Please, you want to pay attention to this. Of course, you can follow us on all of our social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We are also on LinkedIn, and you can go to our website, www.signaturetv.org. We are going to be playing you that report right about now.
Welcome to Signature Morning. I am Godwin Sunday, and today we'll be talking about tourism and how it affects Nigerians in general, especially the younger versions of Nigeria. And joining me to help make sense with this conversation is Ambassador Phil Robert, and he is the Executive Director of Tourism Volunteer Network in Nigeria. You're welcome to Signature Morning.
Thank you so much.
All right. I want to find out, give us an overview of tourism in general, especially Nigeria. What are some of the misconceptions that are tied to tourism in Nigeria?
Okay, thanks so much, Godwin, for bringing me on the show. It's an interesting topic discussing tourism, because a lot of people don't understand when we talk about tourism. So when you talk about tourism, tourism is simply the movement of people or somebody from a place to another place where you are not going there to, you're not relocating. As long as you're traveling from a place to another place and you're spending just a couple of days, a couple of weeks, months, and you are not relocating to that place for permanent stay. That is tourism. So the movement of people from one place to another for either leisure, business, or whatever is tourism. So I tried as much as much to see how we can help Nigerians understand what tourism is, because when you talk about tourism, they just look at it as something which is big or something from outer space. So that is what tourism. And funny enough, we have different types of tourism, and I tell people that tourism is in our everyday life. We have food tourism. When you talk about food tourism, is you trying to see how you can explore the different types of food you have. That is food tourism, or we call it, professionals call it gastronomy. We also have transportation tourism. Of course, moving from one place to the other. If you're traveling anywhere, you go through different types of transportation. So that's transportation tourism, and exploring how you can make transportation better. That's another way of discovering and employing yourself of transportation tourism. We have medical tourism, your ways of discovering new ideas or new technology in making medicine or the medical practitioners work well, blah, blah. All of those things are designed as medical tourism to explore new ways in medicine, from oil, move out from oil and start seeing how we can make money from tourism. A lot of countries are already doing that, promoting their countries and encouraging people to come to their countries to invest and explore. When you watch a couple of TV stations, you see Explore Asia, explore Ghana, explore Rwanda. All those things are tourism promotions. So a big shout out to Signature TV for deciding to see how we can explore Nigeria. So I think it's another angle I always speak to media people to see how they can explore. Because when you make your station a go-to station for informations get promotion, people will want to have information about the hotels. Because when if I'm a tourist and I'm coming to Nigeria, I want to know where I can get a very good hotel. I want to have the different types of hotels that I can stay, the destinations, where are the tourist attractions in Nigeria. If I come into Nigeria, where do I go? Where is this waterfall? What is different from my own country and your own country? Where can I get there? So any TV station or any media outreach that makes herself the prime organization for promoting tourism will basically get good business. Because when people are traveling to a country, they want to get information about that country, and that's where tourism thrives.
All right. So, Ambassador Phil, you've spoken so much about the business part of tourism.
We just dabbled into that.
Let's say we dabbled into the business part of tourism, which I'm even coming back to you at this point. Looking at it from its generality, you will agree with me that it's possible for one to have a home or tourism behind your home, and you don't know the business part. Now let's talk about the business part of it. What are some of the limiting factors that you think that will make or militate Nigerians not to want to delve into the business side of tourism? What are some of these factors?
Tradition, religion, infrastructure, knowledge is much, because a lot of times people, I speak of some people where I was watching a video and somebody was complaining that they have this very beautiful culture or in culture of and arts and all of that in their village, and some people just came from, one of their brothers now came from US or somewhere from the city, and was now like, this deity in their village is the one that is making everybody to be poor, and they brought a man of God to come and destroy the place, scattered everywhere. You understand? And they're like, what is happening here? This is like a tourist attraction from our forefathers. You understand? And you have destroyed it. When people come into our village, they like to visit this place to see for themselves. You know, Africa is blessed. So religion and spirituality is another issue. In fact, people travel also for religious tourism. When TB Joshua was alive, a lot of people were coming into Nigeria. I'm sure you can remember. They were coming to Nigeria to come and get healed and all of that. All those are another form of tourism. So we call that religious tourism. So infrastructure is also a major challenge to tourism, because I give you an instance. There's a very beautiful waterfall somewhere in town. Let's say in Pape, there's a Pape Crush Rock. It's a very beautiful site that I know, and you don't have the road. There's no good road network to access that place. How do you promote that place? You have a very beautiful tourist destination in a place, and you are not able, you go there as a tourist. Maybe the place is very far. You walk for kilometers or you travel for kilometers, and after you are finished enjoying yourself, there is no place to stay, no hotel. So how do you manage to come back? So by the time we look at the stress of moving to that place and coming back to town to come and get a good hotel is a major challenge. So that's why a lot of times those tourist destinations also die off. And again, the locals, if you travel to some of these countries, the reason why a lot of people travel to Israel and Mecca and all those places is that people, the locals around there, have constituted themselves as tour guides. So what they do is that in each tourist destination, they create a beautiful story around it. They tell you, oh, this is the place where Jesus was buried. You understand? They'll try to see how they can spice it up, make it interesting. And when you come and look at it, you'll be like, wow. So this is it. So that is one beautiful thing about tourism. Although that is really the jobs of the tour guide. The tour guide, there's so much money in people. Just imagine a youth who is in a community, and then that youth decides to be a tour guide. Let's say people travel into your community, and you tell them, each person, I will take you to this Pape Crush Rock. All you need to do is to pay me 10,000 naira. So imagine I'm a youth that stays in Pape, and every day I receive, let's say 3 people who come to visit that Pape Crush Rock. I advertise it on social media. Oh, there's this beautiful place in Pape, blah, blah, blah. If 3 people come every day, that's 30,000 naira. So calculate 30,000 times 7 times in a week. How much is that? So that is another business angle of tourism. But like I said, the limitations we always have in Nigeria is, number one, religion, culture, infrastructure, the hospitality of the people there. Because if you want tourism to thrive or hospitality to thrive in your community, you must have empathy. So that when people come into your community, they should be able to see how they should feel loved. That is the main thing. Once people come to your place, no matter how beautiful the place is and the people are not receptive, they won't want to come back there. And another challenge again that people normally have is insecurity. So one of the reasons why I did a project 2 months ago, I trekked from Abuja to Delta State.
We'll come back to that, your project. We'll come back to it, because I'm coming back to that, your project part of it. But then before you delve into that project, I know also that one thing I know about you for sure is that you have been at the forefront of youth advocacy.
Of course,
let's bring this back to your constituency, which is youth advocacy programs also. Most youth in Nigeria won't want to dabble into tourism business for reasons best known to them. Now, let's look at this again. Do you think that the cultural part of tourism or the business part of tourism is demographical sensitive? That is, it is one-sided. Youth are supposed to be excluded from the tourism business in general, because youth are not seeing it from the light of a business angle. They're seeing it probably from the part of, okay, we're just doing this for the fun. Can youth then take up tourism as a sector and delve into it, and what is generality?
So let me explain to you. We have a lot of youths, like we were just talking and playing before the show started, on how the Gen Zs are always on their phone. We have a lot of people who are always on their phone playing, but we also have the same people, a lot of people who are also on their phone and they're making money. You understand? So it's all about the personality, and it's all about what you take interest in. And most times I say the government also have a role to play, because if the government is also looking at on how they can diversify, take away people's attention from oil, from crude oil, which has a lot of corruption, which is why Nigeria is going through so much, and government wants to of tourism. You understand? So all those things are geared towards how we as a people can start to how we can also start to say how we can open. When people want to contest for election, they will say we'll create 1 million jobs. Blah, blah. You don't need to do all those things. Just create an enable environment for tourism to thrive. All you need to do is to start showcasing the potentials of tourism to these people, and they will see it as business. But if you don't do that, but they won't understand. They will still keep seeing it as the usual. You pass this place 150 times in a year. You don't know that this place, people, there is even gold in your place. So that is how tourism is. They came to mine this place, but you know say gold dey here. We don't even know how they pass this place. So So that is how tourism is. So Nigerians, like I said, Africa is waking up anyway, but Nigeria has been so used to crude oil. So the government needs to do more of advocacy. The government needs to see how we can have more of media orientation, to see how we can encourage people and explain to them explicitly different creative ideas on how we can showcase tourism to the world and showcase Nigeria as the biggest tourist destination. By so doing, because Nigerians, there is hunger everywhere, so nobody wants to do something that will be like a waste of time. So when you can expose Nigerians that this thing, there is money in it, and it maybe create incentives for people. I give you an instance. If you design a creative way of promoting your community, government gives you 50,000 naira to do more. Why won't people start doing that instead of some of all this wastage that we are looking at in Nigeria?
All right. So at this point, I want to ask, in the face of insecurity, all of this insecurity challenge that we're having right now across the country, would you still recommend for people to venture into tourism as a business? Would you encourage people to visit tourist location and destinations? Will you support the notion of do tourism in the face of this?
Yeah, you are very right. But do you know that there is a place in the world called Russia and Ukraine? They are fighting, but people are still rushing to go there till now. People still want to visit there. There's a place that they have been fighting for so much, how many months now? It's called Gaza. With the Palestinians, the Israelis and the Palestinians are fighting, but people are still there. You understand? So that's what I keep explaining to even the US that we are running to. Every day you hear that they kill somebody, there's gun duel and all of that. A lot of people are still rushing to the US. So a lot of times I blame the media for the woes and the challenges of Nigeria. Nigerian media are used to seeing how we can showcase bad reportage, bad news about Nigeria, instead of us looking at how we can promote more of the good side of Nigeria. There is no country that is having it nice. All countries have their challenges, but you see, no matter how they promote the evil part, the bad news, they try to say how they can still showcase their countries. So the media is to be blamed. You understand? The media has put, you look at the level of insecurity in Nigeria, the benchmark or the percentage is not like what people talk about. So I encourage people to, because there is nowhere that there is no insecurity, trust me. But the way we promote insecurity in Nigeria is really not good. So we should stop scaring people, because we've done projects that we have promoted tourism and we have not been kidnapped, we've not been doing anything. So the level of insecurity, that the way people talk about insecurity in Nigeria is not true. So that is the bad news. So tourism is thriving, and if you come to Nigeria to do tourism, to visit Nigeria, nobody will kidnap you. Of course, before one of the things we do in tourism, before picking, when you design a tour package, you also design a security package attached to it.
All right. So let's talk about the training and education of in terms of tourism. Do you think that we've done magnificently well in this pursuit of training people and educating people on the importance and significance of tourism in Nigeria, looking at the Nigerian educational curriculums across board? What can you say about this?
Nigeria is still a growing economy when it comes to tourism, because even our educational systems are beginning to wake up and see the importance of tourism. Some universities are beginning to bring tourism into their curriculum, and I think it's something that because of the noise that a couple of us are now making. Of course, we have a lot of tourism organizations like TAN, NATOP, Hatman, NIHOTO, ITPN, of course Tourism Volunteers Network, doing great jobs in promoting tourism. And Nigeria is a country with over 200 and something million people, and you have just like 0.0009% of its population promoting tourism. So how would that work? So that's why I'm saying we need to do more in training, we need to do more of awareness, we need to do more of advocacy. Though we have had lots of setback, sometime last year during President Buhari's time, when he took history out of our curriculum. That was a big blow to tourism, because when you talk about tourism, you talk about stories. Tourism is all about storytelling. So if you don't have the history to talk about your story, to know where you're coming from, how do you promote tourism? So that was one of the biggest setback tourism had, and I'm sure the government is working on that. So education, the educational sector, plays a major role. So that's why we're talking about religion also is a major problem in Nigeria. So some of the trainings that we've been doing a lot of free trainings. Of course, it's not easy. And when you're doing projects that you fund yourself, it's really not easy. So one of the things that will make tourism grow in Nigeria is when we take up the ladder and to scale up tourism promotions through education and advocacies. And of course, the media still has a role to play in that. Trust me.
When you come back to the media again,
yeah.
I'm looking at infrastructural decadence in
Yeah.
Nigeria.
Mhm.
The idea of hooking up and building a tourist site, and you go back in a year time or in a year from now, the whole structure is dilapidated.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the infrastructural decadence in terms of tourism development in Nigeria. Do you think that this culture of lack of maintenance has surreptitiously found its way to our tourism space, and it's therefore hampering the development and drive of our tourism development in Nigeria?
I think it's a people problem. It's not a tourism problem because it's everywhere.
So when we have
The maintenance culture of our people is something that we need to also look into. So it's not only the tourism industry that has been suffering that, and of course people need to understand that because one of the things we preach in Tourism Volunteers Network, we preach promoting tourism through volunteerism and patriotism. So once you are not patriotic, you can if you like, there's nothing you will do in your community that will work. Once the people don't see it as their own, once they don't understand the definition of democracy, which is government for the people by the people, and you are supposed to own it. You understand? So whatever amenity, whatever infrastructure that is in your community, and it's in your domain, you are supposed to see it as your own. Don't look at it as government. One of the major problems we normally have in a couple of places, you even put street light, a place is dark and people are having accidents and all of that, community or some good quality services or quality culture in our maintenance, whatever. Because in Nigeria, I don't want to say it's only in Nigeria because I think it's everywhere, but it is entitled to his own opinion. And we live in a country where everybody is a suspect to everybody. I don't know how we got there because let me also make this known to people since you've asked this question, because I'm a rock musician and a lot of times I travel out of the country for my rock shows. And when I travel to some of those countries, once you get to the mouth of the plane, you see people coming to meet you. Oh, they want to take you to this tourism site. They want to show you this. They want to show you that. And while you're even driving in the streets of their countries, you're seeing different flags of those different flags and colors of the country. But when you come back to Nigeria, it's different. You get down to the mouth of the plane. How can we be patriotic enough to promote Nigeria? And as a musician, a lot of times I started looking at, if you listen to my songs, I do lyrics that are geared towards national development. You won't hear some kind of words on my F word and shake this, say, no, you don't hear that in my songs. I do legendary songs that speaks to the society, songs that are looking at how do we change the society for good. Those are what I've been looking at for, and that is what rock music also preaches, because I'm the president of Rock Music Federation in Nigeria. And what I now decided to do, I started looking at but I used to be an ambassador of the EFCC, but when Mago left, they just disembarked. They just make sure that in fact they just said we couldn't have that again because it's a new administration. And when I was planning Rock Music Festival last year, I invited the FCT Tourism Department, and they came for the press conference. They were like, "Oh, we heard about what you're doing, and do you know that this thing you're doing is tourism?" I said, "What is tourism?" Did I say, you are promoting Nigeria, this one, through entertainment, blah, blah, blah. You can work with us in promoting tourism. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't know I've been promoting tourism, but I have a passion to see how I can promote Nigeria patriotically. And as a patriotic Nigeria, I just want to promote Nigeria. And I've done a lot of volunteerism projects. And that was how we started with the project, Tourism Volunteers Network. So I started talking to a couple of entertainers. Let us come together and use our platform. I don't even have a picture. I've not seen some of those tourism sites in Nigeria. So I was like, okay, let's go and visit those tourism sites. And we're like, okay, if you fly down to